Hi, and welcome to my final project. Today, I will be talking about language, especially in ancient Greek. I'm sure that you are familiar with these Greek letters alpha, beta, gamma. This sounds completely different with English letters. In fact, the way these letters are pronounced are different than many countries that uses Indo-European languages. So, have you ever think about how did people come up with language like this? Well, in this video, I will give you an introduction of the Greek language. But first, let's talk about history. Yay! When you think about ancient Greek, you think about Crete, right? The Minoans lived there around 2000 BCE until 1500 BCE. With their unique art and architecture, the Minoans made a significant contribution to the development of Western European civilization as it is known today. Sir Arthur Evans was first alerted to the possible presence of an ancient civilization on Crete by surviving curved sealstones worn as charms by native Cretans in the early 20th century. Excavating in Knossos from 1900 to 1905, Evans discovered extensive ruins which confirmed an ancient account, both literary and mythological, of a sophisticated Cretan culture and possible site of the legendary labyrinth and palace of King Minos. So these are the Minoans' art, really colorful and unique. In addition to vivid frescoes, grand palace, and even indoor plumbing, the Minoans also developed the first written system of Europe, the ornamental Cretan hieroglyphs and systemized Linear A. Arthur Evans named the script linear because its characters consisted simply of lines inscribed in clay. Linear A was the primary script used in palace and religious writings of the Minoan civilization. It is a symbolic script written from left to right. So when we first discover an unknown language and attempt to decode it, our best bet is to link this language to a language that we've already known. For example, when archaeology first discovered the hieroglyphs from ancient Egypt, they could not translate it until they found the Rosetta Stone. With three types of language on there, Champlain was finally able to translate the ancient Egypt language. However, the approximate phonetic values of most syllabic signs used in Linear A are known from Linear B, but the language written in Linear A remains unknown. There must have been a pre-Hellenic language of Minoan. Linear A does not link to any known language. Linear A has almost hundreds of signs. They are believed to represent syllabic, ideographic, and semantic values in a manner similar to Linear B. Here is a list of accounting written in Linear A form. As you can see, the text starts with some kind of introductory sign sequence, followed by the logogram for wine, and then groups of sign sequence followed by numbers. It is theorized that the introductory sequence is a geographic name. The wine logogram indicates that the commodity this tablet records. Each group is likely a name of a person and a quantity of wine associated with that person, either given to or received from the person. One significant difference between Linear A and Linear B, however, is that Linear A was also used on personal objects for religious dedications based on parallel to later Greek votive inscriptions. These texts do not contain numbers and most likely contain brief but actual grammatical constructs. Take a look. Once again, applying Linear B reading to these Linear A texts. We see the sign sequence Ja, Sa, Sa, La, Me. This sequence is very interesting because it appears very often in many other such votive inscriptions in slightly different variations. For example, this one. The first sign of the lines alternates between two different signs, Ya and A, suggesting some kind of prefix. Since these two signs share the same vowel, it is likely that Ya is a prefix and A is actually part of the root of the word. Despite these exciting discoveries, we only have very rudimentary understanding of Linear A. For the most part, Linear A is far from deciphered due to the fact that its underlying language is still unknown. Greek, Semitic, Anatolian, and even Etruscan language have all been proposed, but none have been conclusively shown to be Linear A's language, as the similarities are too few and inconsistent that they could either be by chance or a simple borrowing. There is no bilingual text with other well-known language, a sort of Rosetta Stone, that would help to illuminate the words and grammar of Linear A text. Overall, Linear A will most likely remain obscure in the near future. Moving on, even though it is such a pity for not being able to decipher Linear A similar language is successfully translated. Again, history first. The Mycenaeans developed mainland Greek, the region from around 1600 BC to 1100 BC. They are sometimes called the first Greeks because they were the first to speak the Greek language. They developed the Linear B language. Linear B is an adapted form of Linear A, which was borrowed from the Minoans by the Mycenaean Greeks, probably about 1600 BC. Its language is the Mycenaean Greek dialect. Linear B script is attested on the clay tablets and on some vases, both dating from about 1400 BC to roughly 1200 BC. It is also the earliest attested form of Greek. The script was also discovered by Sir Arthur Evans in the early part of this century during excavation in Crete and the Greek mainland. However, its full decipherment did not occur until 1953, while Michael Ventris finally solved the math. It seems that Asian accounting records compose a majority of the clay tablets on which Linear B appears, because a lot of them are lists of materials and goods. So here is a basic Linear B syllabary. If you cannot understand it, just think of this as a Japanese canon chart where the horizontal line represents the vowel and the vertical column is the consonant. So for this one, it will sound like sa. And the one with the shape of the heart would be tu. In addition to the standard syllabic grid, there are optional signs used to clarify the spelling of a word. Some of these signs can be considered shorthands in that they represent diphthongs. The following chart shows how consonants are written out. The first line illustrates consonant clusters. The second line shows ending consonants that are omitted. And the third line gives example for ending consonants that are written. Linear B also has several logograms. These logograms represent people, animal, plants, and objects. Some of the logograms are pictorial in appearance, leaving no doubt what they represent, while others are more iconic or symbolic. Now here comes the funny part. For certain animals, the sex of the animal can be marked by extra strokes to the logogram. The original logogram usually represents the species of an animal, where two short horizontal lines represent the male of the species and an extra vertical line represents the female. Now let's talk about the link between Linear B and Ancient Greek. The system was apparently designed for a non-Greek language as it did not fit the sounds of Greek very well. In fact, it is likely the Linear A was used to write the pre-Greek language of Crete. But incoming Greeks adopt this writing system for their own use, but without changing how the system fundamentally works. Because of that, there are many Greek sounds that are missing in Linear B sounds. But to solve this problem, signs for similar sounds are used instead. Take a look. Like the first one, the sounds of Mycenaean Greek and the Ancient Greek were literally identical. So as the word father, where in Mycenaean Greek it was pronounced pater, and in ancient Greek it was pronounced pater too. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you must be boring after watching this long video, so let's do something interesting. I'm going to teach you how to write out numbers! Yay! The number system is so easy in Linear B language. There are only 5 signs. Each of these denotes a power of 10. So you have 1, 10, 100, 1,000, and 1000. So to write out a number, you begin with the highest power of 10, and then you slowly move it down to the lowest. So let's try something. How about a 15? So you would start with 1, 10, a horizontal line, and then it's with 5, 1 is 5 vertical line. There it is a 15. Keep practicing and you will become an expert of Linear B. Now you've reached the last part of my video, and that's it. You've learned something about Linear A and Linear B. Yay! Thank you for watching, and it's been a great semester to take your class. And at the end, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!